Okay, apparently this camera only records 10 minutes at a time. Sorry about that. So this is part 2 of the wire splitting process. But it's good because I had time to think of things I forgot to say. First off, I forgot to mention where the main igniter wire goes after I put it in the inline fuse. So I let it keep going and it will tap into the igniter, and it's supposed to have power both in the on and the start position of the key. Another wire that also went in that direction towards the steering wheel is this blue, or the yellow with a red stripe, and it's coming off of the EFI main relay. So it has a few splices right here, and somewhere around here it has a couple more. So after all those splices were done and it used to continue up towards the steering wheel, I had it run back and just set up another inline fuse. The ignition inline fuse is supposed to be 7.5 amps, and this one is 15, and it just goes straight to the fusible linker battery, or however you want to do it. One other wire that went up this way is for the starter motor. It's black with a white stripe, and because the 62 has the automatic transmission, it's equipped with the neutral safety switch, and obviously the 60 does not have that with its manual transmission, so there's a lot that we can eliminate there. So as the black and white wire tees off and goes into the ECU, I just snipped the portion that goes up this direction so that it's a single black and white wire that starts at this ECU plug and continues down, going in towards the engine. Another wire that's hand in hand with this is the black with the red stripe, which actually does connect to the starter motor from the neutral safety switch. And turned out to be pretty simple once you got to eliminate all of that. What I ended up doing, and might need to give me a second to think about this for a sec. So I combined this black cable with the white stripe with the black cable and the red stripe. The other places the black cable with the red stripe goes, so in this setup, not in the original stock setup, it needs to go to this 5-wire connector that interfaces with the EFI harness, and it already does, so I just left that untouched. It also goes up towards this connector, which leads to the circuit opening relay, which I really don't know what it does, but it's obviously important, so I kept that. So as long as the black wire with the red stripe starts at the ECU cable and goes up to the circuit opening relay connector, goes to the EFI main relay connector, actually it's this one, and then down towards the engine, you're good. And at this point I combined the black and white wire with the black and red wire, and so you're left with just the black and white wire. And the last thing you need to do with this, or what I chose to do, is to just put a tap from this wire into the original FJ60 starter motor wire, which I'm not sure, but I believe it's also black and white. And so before the signal wire for the starter motor on the FJ60 actually goes to the starter, you just tap this in at some point, and that should be good to go. The AC system, it has one lead that goes to the Freon compressor, and then one other that goes to a connector for the switch. And I'm deciding to keep the 60 switch, so I just snip this. These are also black and white, not to be confused with the starter motor system, but it's easy to tell them apart because this one is a lot smaller. The ones for the air conditioning are a lot smaller than the starter motor. Okay, with the circuit opening relay, there's a brown wire here, and it's got some stripes. There are also 2 brown wires coming off of this EFI main relay connector switch, so that you have 3 in the stock 60 combined with about 1,000,000 other wires to ground. So I just combined these 3 to make it into ground. All the brown ones are going to ground, so it makes that pretty simple. And I'm trying to think of anything else that is related to these items. I don't think there is. Just to clarify, because I don't think I mentioned it yet, there are only 2 fuses on this system that I kept. You can pull more of the harness out and use that to replace some of the 60s, but with this setup, it's as simple as it can be, and anything that's part of the original FJ60 harness is kept and being used. And I know there's one other thing I was going to say. But yeah, so this is basically it. It won't make much sense until you dive in and use all of the diagrams that I told you to, and start learning this for yourself. I believe that's all you need to know. Oh, last thing I was going to mention is the cooling fan on the FJ60 for the carburetor was kept with the 62 to cool the manifolds off. And I don't know how similar it is, but I know that they are at least somewhat similar. So I eliminated all of that from the big huge harness. I'm not using any of the 62's harness for the cooling fan. I'm keeping that with the I'm letting that be powered by the FJ60's harness, although I'm using the temperature sensor sender that's stock with the 3FE. If you have any questions, I will let you know as long as I'm still here, which won't be long. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. Anyways, alright, you guys have a good day.